when you're a beginner, you can do whatever. And
sorry guys, it was the printer.
In the criminal justice system, the people are represented by two separate yet equally important groups: the police who investigate crime and the district attorneys who prosecute the offenders. These are their stories.
Okay,
cheers, man.
cheers.
Welcome back to a new installment. Today we're going to tell you about the 5 biggest mistakes that beginners make and that we made as beginners as well.
Yeah, and as we will focus on beginners and more probably fresh lifters today, these tips and approaches will also be quite suitable for more intermediate and even advanced lifters as well. So,
Of course.
because I would say both of us is more in the intermediate category. We've both been lifting approximately 10 years now, I would say. Been going on and off with more inactive periods and more active periods as well.
Now we come to the first topic, which is balance.
Yeah.
And balance is how you approach everything. So not just going to the gym and doing just the gym, you know. Gym isn't everything. You can't forget that you have a life, man.
Yeah.
You have parents, family, friends, could have a spouse, whatever. Everything is important. And you gotta have those cards in line also. You can't just drop everything and go all in on the gym. A lot of people do that because they get caught up in the positive feedback you get from the gym. That brings us to the next thing, which is different training modalities, which would be like volume, frequency, and like rep ranges, everything like that. Now I have some personal opinions here. I think if you're a beginner, you should have as high frequency as possible, just to get used to the habit of going to the gym.
Yeah.
I think that's getting into the habit of going is like prior number 1 in the beginning.
Yeah.
We already have the habit and it feels wrong if we don't go, right?
Yeah.
So if you get that habit, then you're gonna go to the gym. Then you can start messing around with the other like modalities you can manipulate, which is like, how many sets am I going to do each workout?
Yeah.
How many exercises am I going to do each workout for different muscle groups?
Yeah.
And what rep ranges am I going to use for different exercises? And like, how am I going to manipulate them? That's more like you become intermediate, you gotta start thinking about those things. I think when you're a beginner, you can do whatever. And
sorry guys, it was the printer.
spooked me.
Spook?
You can do almost whatever. As long as you're consistent in getting to the gym, you're going to breach past the beginner stage.
Yeah. In like the shift between like volume and frequency and all of that stuff, what do you find most valuable if you take a beginner and an intermediate? Because these variables shift during the process of getting more experienced.
They do.
In your opinion, which one would you say is the most crucial to lock in the beginning?
In the beginning, frequency. But volume is going to have to increase over time.
Yeah.
Though it might not have to for a long time. Yeah. Because you're going to get better at technique. Like over time, you're going to get more skilled at each lift. And you gotta view a lift as a separate thing. It's not like, well, sure, it's a part of the whole lifting journey, but it's, if you look at it like really separately and you develop a skill for a lift, you're going to progress like a lot faster once you're skilled in it. Yeah,
that's something I really realized when when I changed my route to powerlifting. Because in powerlifting it's really beneficial and crucial to think about, as you explain, as a skill. When you're bodybuilding, it could be the same, but not in the same approach.
Well, you have to have it locked down.
Yeah.
You can, if you're very gifted and you're a very high responder to training, you might not have to think about it that much. But for the average Joe, you're gonna have to lock it down to get to the next level.
The next tip, I would say, is counting calories. For me, it's very close to me because when I began training back in like 2014, you were very close in my progress as well. You and Sebastian helped me out a lot with like both diet and eating and so on. But I remember Sebastian put me on this like quite strict diet. It was almost like rice and chicken every meal, eating 5-6 meals a day.
Yeah.
Very small meals though.
Yeah.
But it gave me insane results because I lost 50-55 pounds in about 7 months or something like that.
Yep.
And yeah, that was way too much weight loss during that short amount of period. But at that time as well, I didn't have that much muscle either. So in some cases, it wasn't that bad if I would have had more muscles.
Yeah.
But going back to the counting calories, is that I had a really strict approach to this. Counting the protein, the carbs, the fats, everything down to the T. And yeah, it gave me insane results. But I started to notice like the psychological effects of it, because I started to value the meals, the macros, over things like socializing, spending time with others, doing maybe the even valuable stuff.
Yeah.
But diet was everything for me back then.
Yeah.
I could not do anything else, and it was like the verge of becoming an eating disorder. But then I realized it, I pulled the plug, and from that moment I made a promise to myself that I would like only eat for feeling like I eat until I'm full, and how it makes me feel good and so on. Not like have this limited, strict approach to it. Because that's very taxing and not healthy. And I think this is a very big mistake which a lot of beginners make. As the first tip we made, that they go all in and put way too much emphasis on training, making it their whole identity. And there we could also like speak of the self-improvement trap. Like we often start to self-improve in some areas of our life, but because it's a quite positive change, we forget that also that could be too much if it goes overboard. And it becomes like it starts affecting our self-confidence, like our worth, if you will, because we start to chase that improving all the time, like never enough. Same with the diet, same with the training. And I think it's a quite common one. It has become better, I think, with today's knowledge and more informative media. Still an issue, I think, but it has improved, I think, a lot. But yeah, something to think about.
The overuse of supplements and aids.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Now, what do you have to say about that? I have a couple of 5 cents to give, a nickel and a penny.
Yeah, and for those of you who wonders, with AIDS, we don't mean the disease.
No.
We're talking about like wearing sleeves, wearing belts, knee wraps, like every materialistic supportive material, if you will, and that is quite popular today.
Could also be stimulants,
Yeah.
pre-workout, you overuse pre-workouts.
Yeah, and it's not that I would want to like remove it. I still think it has great benefits of using these like support,
Yeah.
like knee sleeves. If you wrap up the weights, powerlifting on just starting to increase the weights at the gym, I would still say it's pretty crucial to use them.
Yeah.
And if you got like not only bad knees but want to prevent some issues for the knees, could be good to warm up the joints. But I think a lot of people use them just to use them. Like they think, first of all, they think the knee sleeves would prevent knee issues or something. But the thing is, it only warms up the joint.
Yeah.
And I mean, a little same with the wraps and wrist wraps as well. It could help you, for sure. It could. But as you know, I stopped wearing these supports last year. I haven't used them since. Maybe I will put them back on, maybe for competition or something like that. Then I will need it. But I've squatted without belt, without sleeves, I benched without wrist straps and so on. And that is just because I want to become more independent, less dependent on other stuff. Like I wore wrist straps both in squat and bench because it made my wrist like bend, because my wrists are pretty weak in stability. But then I decided like I want to practice and improve my strength instead of having to wear those type of supports. Same with the belt. And it's only now when I removed the belt I realized how bad my bracing has been. Like both bracing and core strength overall. But now, like both my core and upper back stability has improved tremendously since I removed this, because now I actually have to think actively how to breathe, how to brace. And I would say my abs are the most developed, like aesthetically, they have been since this. Not doing any extra ab work, just by bracing correctly. And it's still very difficult to brace correctly, don't get me wrong. It takes years of practice if you haven't like done it automatically. So that has really been like life-changing for me. But I wouldn't like hate on them either. They could be super beneficial if you use them with ease, not use them all the time. Because I was this myself. Back in the day I could, when I went from the gym, I had my knee sleeves at the calves and I deadlifted with the knee sleeves at the calves, and I had everything on all the time because it looked cool. It boosted my ego somehow, I don't know. But I just wore it to wear it. I mean, most of the time I had it on for my squats, for my bench, for my deadlift. But then I just left it on as well. So I see it all the time at the
Part
gym.
of the gym swag,
Yeah, exactly.
One thing that we all have been is being too result oriented. Becoming focused on the goal. I want to get jacked, stacked, tanned, and I want all the bitches.
Hell yeah.
That's what I thought when I was 16 years old. Now I'm in the Zen place, Zen paradise.
Hell yeah.
I go to the gym
Buddhism.
because I love going to the gym. I don't care about the results. Well, I mean, sure, it's nice to get them, but in the end, whatever, you know.
And I think it always started like this. You get the motivation of doing things from external materials, external factors, as you said. Get the bitches, get the outside results. It's like I was the same. I started to work out to lose weight. I was very overweight. Then I lost that weight. But if we take now I train for more function, more health overall. But back then, I didn't care about being healthy.
No.
I just wanted to, I saw the results I got, like, holy shit, I could transform my body like this, like, shape it as I saw fit. And that was such a beautiful feeling to me. and then it was like getting shredded, then it was about getting jacked,
Yeah.
doing the cool stuff in the gym, you name it. And I actually spoke about this the other day, like why we start in the gym. I dropped an Ace talks about this as well,
Yeah.
like what motivates you.
Yeah.
That you should always do the things that motivate you, whether it's functional or not. Because if you look at it, when we start out, we often start out with the unhealthy reasons.
Yeah.
Like ego lifting could
Yeah.
even be acceptable in the beginning.
Yeah,
because
for example, now I smoke for health.
Oh, yeah. Maybe not.
No.
But it's like
Kidding.
all of these people that look at those who ego lift and so on and things, it's very unhealthy, not safe. But I would say in the beginning, if ego lifting is the thing that gets you off the couch, leaves the apartment, actually going to the gym,
Hell yeah.
so be it.
Hell yeah, brother.
Because later on in the process, you can just remove the unhealthy stuff.
Yeah.
Because I don't see a lot of people starting out in the gym, like starting out with the healthy, functional, optimal movements from the start. Some might, and that's great. But for majority of people, I would say they start because they want status, they want to lose weight, or like, as I said before, psychological stuff like treating or like handling with insecurities and stuff like that. It's often factors like this. It's not because they want to actually be healthy from the start.
Yeah.
Then they pursue it and becomes more healthy. They mature in the gym as they get older and stuff like that. They want to seek that functionality in the movements, maybe explore different movements as more optimal, as I am doing now. I'm training very functional right now. But it has helped with a girlfriend that is a physical therapist, so she always looks at the functionality.
Yeah.
And I've always looked at like pump and strength. I have.
Yeah.
But it has made me see like a different perspective, which I think is great. And I will be talking about some of these things which we talked about today in my Ace Talks as well. So go check them out. But I think that's pretty good, and that's it for today's video. Do you have something to add?
No.
Any questions,
No.
thoughts,
No questions.
lies?
No thought. Actually, next episodes will be about men's sexual health and how to reach an orgasm.
Hell yeah.
Yes. No.
Treating ED.
No. Maybe we'll do a sex with Lucas and Aleko episode.
Hell yeah, ranking top 5 sex toys.
Yes, that we will do. Okay, that's it.
That's
That's
finishing.
We're done.